One of the most difficult things to me is to find the place where to film, because it's either too loud or the light is not so good. So we're gonna try here outside, and hopefully it's gonna be a good video. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Misha, Ukrainian vet who works and lives in the United States in Henderson, Nevada. Today we're gonna talk about a very interesting topic, and this is one of the most hardest topic for us veterinarians and for anyone who works in the medical field. Today we're gonna discuss the complaints. So let's start. What is actually complaint? Pretty simple. Complaint is when one of the clients, pet owners, complain on you to the medical board. Then medical board does some investigation and they make the decision in the end if they're gonna take an action against you or they're gonna cancel this complaint. It's very interesting because last week I went to CE courses. CE, it's continuing education courses. And it was provided by the medical board, and they were talking about the complaints. They were talking about the cases that happened, and they were talking about how you can avoid it. So what I want to do in this video, I want to share some cases with you and also share how you can try to avoid it. Of course, complaints, this is something that is going to happen to everyone. No matter how good you are, human being, they can never be satisfied. And this is people. They always gonna complain, no matter how, it doesn't matter how good you are, it can happen. From your side as a doctor, you need to do your best, you need to provide the best services that you can and practice like high quality medicine. Be good in your profession, be responsible, and if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And then you just show everything what happened, and if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, they're gonna penalty you, etc. So we're gonna go and discuss some cases, and then we can talk a little bit about some things, how you can try to avoid the complaints. Private jets behind me. What a life. First case they were talking about, it's when the pet died a couple days after the general anesthesia. Pet came for the dental procedure and the blood work was performed. They went under the anesthesia and pet developed kidney failure a couple days after. So the board requested the medical notes and also the client communication notes, and in there they find out that doctor never talked to client about the blood work, and client didn't know that pet had elevated kidney enzymes, so it was some azotemia. And when they asked the doctor why does it happen, why they haven't talked, the doctor said that it was like pretty mild and they haven't expected any complications. So in this case, again, the best what you can do from your side, you do the blood work before you go under, right? So you can even offer more tests, you can offer x-rays, for example. Then you need to discuss the findings, you need to discuss the blood work with the owner. If you have any concerns, you need to mention it to them. Even if it's like very mild elevation in kidney, liver enzymes, you need to talk about it and give them the options, tell them what can happen, and let them make this decision. Either they want to proceed with the procedure or they don't. Of course, in the real life, sometimes it's very hard, especially when you're booked, when you're busy, but this is something that's gonna save you and it's gonna save your license, and also it's gonna be high quality medicine, and in my opinion, you have to do it. So in order to avoid something like that, you need to talk to clients and make sure you discuss everything and also let them sign the papers. The next case they discussed, it was a case where it was the end of the day and the pet came with vomiting, and doctor did the physical exam and he sent home medication, so symptomatic treatment. The board said that they haven't seen any notes about offering the diagnostic, and the next day pet went to the ER and it was the foreign body, and I'm not sure if he survived or unfortunately he died, but they filed the complaint and board took an action against the doctor. So in this situation, what was wrong? They said even it's the end of the day, the pet presented with vomiting, you need to let the clients know that it can be something pretty serious, and you, as a rule out, you always need to tell them what it can be, and if it's a potential foreign body, you need to refer them to the ER or at least give them the option. In your case, what you can do, you need to communicate pretty well. you need to give the discharge paper where you type all these things, and also ideally it's to let them sign it. Again, very interesting, because the board said that it's not required for you to get a signature for everything what you're discussing with the clients. So, but at the same time, it's going to be benefit for you if you have this signature. Or it can be also some other proof. For example, if you have other person with you who was in the room, or it can be even camera, if you have cameras in the room, also can help you. So in this situation, doctor didn't mention possible complication. He didn't mention what exactly it could be. I'm not sure if they offered the diagnostic or not, but so the board took an action against the doctor, and he was penalty. So he needs to pay. He needs to take the CE courses. And yeah, it's actually pretty bad and stressful, so try to avoid things like that. One more case, it was also about the foreign body, and doctor did the procedure, Pat went home, everything was well, and a couple days after Pat died, they did the necropsy, and on the necropsy they find out that Pat has peritonitis, because the incision, so the sutures, they fall off, and Pat developed peritonitis and died. Yeah, the doctor needed to pay some money for the investigation. He needed to attend the CE courses. In this situation, this is something, unfortunately, that is very hard to avoid. Of course, you need to tell the people all possible complications in this situation, and let them be prepared that something like that can happen. And as soon as they notice any change, they need to see the ER doctor, or they need to come back for the recheck. And that's what I learned in the United States. You have to offer not the internal medicine, but you have to offer the board certified surgeon as option number one for any procedure, because people need to have the options, and your job is to give them the best options you can. And the first of them, it's going to be go and do the procedure with a board certified surgeon. If you cannot do it like financially, time wise, you cannot book an appointment with them because they're busy, then you can offer your services. Of course, it's not always works like that. Plus, if you have good relationship with the client, they trust you only, and they're going to go and do it with you only. Yes, but again, I learned that in this field, in medical field, unfortunately, doesn't matter how big the trust is from the owner. Some people, they can love you today and they're gonna hate you tomorrow. So that's why you never know how it's gonna turn around, and how it can be against you. So try to protect yourself, and also, of course, provide the best medicine that you can. Again, something like that complication can happen to everyone, and unfortunately it's gonna happen. And yeah, everything what you can do, it's practice, improve your skills, and of course try to give the people more options so they kind of make their choice. And yeah, one more case. It was a situation where Pat was under the anesthesia for the dental cleaning, and they performed the dental x-rays, and doctors saw that some of the teeth must be extracted, some of them could be potentially saved, and they can do root canal, but they couldn't do it because they don't know how to do it, and they could theoretically send the Pat to the dental specialist. They knew this client pretty well, and they knew that the client doesn't have so much money to do it. Probably it was an old client of them, I don't know. And doctor asked his tech, licensed tech, to give a call and talk to the client and tell them, hey, we need to pull these tooth, but if you can to go to the dental specialist, you can go, and they might be able to save these tooth. Tech called the client, but he didn't mention anything about specialists. He just said that these tooth must be extracted. The doctor got the approval from his tech, pulled the tooth, everything went well. Pat woke up, he went home, and then he came back in a couple of days. Something that always happens when you pull too many tooth, that the tongue is stuck out. Client started complaining and saying like, why is that happen? And in the end, they filed the complaint. And actually, board started the investigation because no options were provided, and people said that they would be able to go to see the specialist and try to avoid this extraction. So in this situation, who made the mistake? Because doctor actually, he did everything right. So he said you need to say something to the client, and his tech, he didn't say it. Because the tech was licensed, and doctor as a primary person, when we're talking about the medicine, So he was responsible for that, and the tech was responsible for that. So they both got some CE hours to do, they both got some penalty to pay, and it was something that affected both of them, right? As far as I remember, they said that the doctor was taking the courses about the communication, so he need to know how to communicate better with the staff and with the clients. And the license tech, I think he did a little bit more. But it's something that affected both of them. So what you can learn from here is that you need to give the options again, give different options, and also for the doctors, make sure that you communicate to your staff and make sure that the staff is able to provide the same information that you want them to provide to your clients. And this is something that can save you and save your license as well. One more very interesting case. So it was a young cat for the neuter procedure. They did the blood work, they talked to the client about the blood work, they started the procedure, and the cat stopped breathing right after the induction. They tried to do CPR, but it was not successful, and the pet passed away. They called the client wasn't happy, and they said they're gonna complain to the board, and they also asked for the money. So they said that you need to give us the money back. In this situation, at the hospital, they decided not to pay back. They said, because we did everything right, we're not supposed to give you any money back. So client filed the complaint, and board did the investigation. They checked the medical notes. They said the notes were normal. They checked the client communication notes. Doctor went over the blood work with the client. Client knew about potential risks, so they probably has a signature, everything was signed. They provided the CPR, and the CPR was also written, and everything was correct. And the board said, we don't see any mistake that could be done by the doctor, everything was done correct. And they went for the necropsy in the end, and necropsy showed it was hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, something that doctor on the physical exam could not find, and also, yeah, it's something that happens, and it's not a doctor failure. At this situation, they said, yeah, doctor hasn't done any mistake, and they're not supposed to pay you back. So we are sorry, but we decline this complaint. Very interesting situation, because one of the doctors actually asked, what if we pay the clients back, the money back, and they still complain on us? When we pay, is it something that where we show that we are guilty, or it doesn't show that we have a guilt? And the board said that it doesn't matter if you pay the money back or you don't. For us, it's not going to influence the case. It's just more about your relationship with the clients, and if you feel that you want them, if you want to pay them back, you can do it. If you feel that you don't have to, you don't do it. So that's why, yeah, different situations, of course, sometimes hospitals just give the people money back, and yeah, they kind of forget about things. But it doesn't mean if you pay people the money back, it doesn't mean that it's gonna save you, and it also doesn't mean that you're gonna show that you're guilty if you did that. So very interesting case. Of course, I'm pretty sure it was pretty stressful. But yeah, this is medicine, many things can happen, and everything what you can do again as a doctor is to make sure that you practice good quality medicine, your staff know what they're doing, and yeah, unfortunately you need to protect yourself in this field, and you need to get like confirmation signatures from the owners, and yeah, make sure you protect it. One of the last cases they discussed, it was a case where the pet came to the ER hospital, and doctor did the blood work, and it was azotemia, so kidney enzymes were pretty high. And doctor mentioned what must be done for the treatment. He said that most likely it's a kidney failure, but he didn't mention any other rule outs. In his medical notes, he mentioned that it also can be Addison disease or some other causes, but he hasn't discussed that with the client. They declined the treatment plan, and they said something like bad to the doctor, and they left. They went to the primary vet next day, and the pet was diagnosed with Addison disease. Client called back to the ER and wanted to talk to the doctor. Like sometimes people when they talk, they don't think what they're saying. He started like saying that the doctor was stupid, and like, we need our money back, we need to talk to him, why he told us it's a kidney failure, it's not a kidney failure. And at this situation, doctor said that I'm not gonna talk to them, and he hasn't talked to them. So client filed the complaint, board did the investigation, and in the end they took an action against the ER doctor. So they said that the communication from the doctor was wrong, even if he mentioned in his notes that it was it could be the kidney failure, it can be Edison, it can be like other things like obstruction, so it doesn't matter. So he mentioned the rule out in the notes, but he hasn't discussed that with the client. They told him that he needs to take the CE courses and improve his communication. So actually they took an action against him. Again, it happened. This field is very emotional. Something that happened to me, I remember one lady, she called me stupid a couple times over the phone. I have it actually on the recorded line and up front. And this is something that you cannot avoid because people, they are different and you cannot be good for everyone. With some clients you have great relationships, some clients they feel like you're horrible and you cannot do anything. Everything what you can do is just to do your best, and that's it. In my situation it was a case where the pet came with a growth on the eyelid, and I mentioned what must be done, but I also saw that she has red sclera and possible conjunctivitis, and I recommended some medication for that. And the lady, she signed, she said, yes, I'm gonna take these meds. And in the end she called back and said that I want my money back, you stupid, I come with one problem and you gave me meds for something else, why I came to you, and I don't know. So people can be different, and it happens, and it really affects you because you work in the stress field, you work in like very stress environment. Again, you see emergency cases, and some of your some of your patients, they're not doing well, and you try your best, and at the same time people put the pressure on top on you. Of course, all these things, like to be stress-free, it comes with the time, because your confidence is gonna come with the time. At the same time, instead of like good communication, people create more stress, and then yeah, is it the benefit for their pet? No. Is it the benefit for the doctor? No. For themselves? No. I understand that you can also be on another side, right? And if doctor did something bad, because unfortunately we are all human beings, and some doctors, they don't take many things like pretty serious, and they can make the mistakes. This is the one thing when you make the mistakes when you try your best and you made the mistake. It's the one thing when you made the mistake because you didn't know, because you cannot know everything. But another thing that when you really doing horrible things, and unfortunately I saw some doctors doing pretty good things, and of course I understand in this situation you're going to be on the client side because they need to protect themselves, they need to protect their pets, and they have the rights to complain and to get some compensation for that, right? So yeah, pretty stressful field, and actually the next video we're gonna discuss the stress in the veterinary field, because this is something that you are dealing with every day, and yeah, only time and experience can help you to kind of decrease it, right, and feel better and enjoy the work at the end. So what we can say, this is the complaints. This is something that most likely it's gonna happen to everyone. This is something that's very hard to avoid. It doesn't matter how good you are, it's still possible that it can happen to you. Even with the vaccines, you can give the vaccine, pet can have the reaction, they can complain you. For example, if it's a cat and develop fibrosarcoma, they can complain on you, and even if you're doing like some simple things, it still can be against you. Everything what you can do, it's study, make sure you prove yourself and you learn every day. Make sure your services are on the high level of the quality, and also you have a good communication. Of course, it's also very important that what board said, make sure you do your soap notes pretty good, so you type everything what is needed, you give the discharge papers, you type the client communication notes, and all these things. Try to protect yourself, it's not even about like protect yourself, just try to write everything what was done, what was recommended, because in the end it's gonna be your protection, something like that. So I feel like the medical field in United States, I'm not sure about other countries because I haven't worked so much in other countries, but it's more about try to protect yourself. I remember many doctors in Los Angeles when I just started and I was making one of my first videos, I was saying that I'm not sure if I want to go and get the license because I see how stressed the doctors are and they all unhappy, and all these complaints, stupid complaints, and I wasn't sure if I really want to go and do it because I haven't seen any like happy doctors. Again, maybe it was a situation in this hospital specifically and with the doctors that I work with. So it's life. With the time, you still try to enjoy it, and you try to do your best. And yeah. So I hope, guys, this video was useful for you, and you're gonna find some interesting information for yourself. If you have any questions, I always open. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, and also subscribe to the channel. As always, I'm open to talk on Instagram, Facebook, any questions you have about the veterinary field in the United States, especially for the foreign graduates. Any help I can provide, I'm always open to help you guys. Thank you for staying with me, and I see you in the next videos. Good luck. Bye.